What is up, YouTube world? I've got two now late contest response videos I'd like to do. I don't care about the contest. I shouldn't say that. I care about it, but I just didn't take into consideration what when the ending day was. So, boo to me. And that's a better background, I think, than nothing card-wise, like I usually have. But I want to get these out just because, again, sharing thoughts and opinions for this community is great. Opinions are great. Judgments are not. I'm trying to think. I think Jerome, Yankees cards, had the contest show your top 10 either Yankees cards or 10 cards in a particular PC. I could go the Josh Johnson route. Most of you have seen that shit. That's hashed, rehashed, hashed again. It's almost too hashed. It's a hash play. So, I'm gonna do Yankees. Stuff I could dig up. That was the thing, though. I still have a lot of stuff strewn about. So, there are things that I don't know I should have in here. Some I don't. So I'll get to his first, but there's also the contest. I believe Joey brings it. The modern versus vintage argument, as it were. It's all that's created the dust up in the old community as of late, where opinions are only allowed for a select few and judgments are cast upon people and the blind follow the blind. But get to that in a moment. So Jerome, you want to see 10 Yankees cards in the collection? I hate showing you a Met with PDA. Maybe I'll show Pete behind there. But first one, I've got the authentication somewhere. I know this. But this card back in 92 was my creme de la creme. If you had it, you were doing good in life. He didn't pan out, obviously, but at the same time, that's one of those iconic kid cards that I had. You saw it in the Beckett booking for like, what's it? Between like 60 and 120, somewhere in that range, and you're like, what the hell is that? Where can I get this? Sign me up. And I had never seen one, and it's one of those ones where if you do not look for it, or you don't actively have it on your mind, it will pass you by time after time. It's copyright Cyndi Lauper. But yeah, I got that in the collection. It's still a probably at least an $8 to $10 card, because a lot of other people, I'm shocked, think like me in some regard, or they're Yankee fans and they want to get like the Kevin Moss of yesteryear, the Brian Taylors, those failed guys that had so much hype behind them and didn't really pan out even 1/10 of what they should have. So there's one. Another one, a Yankee, then a future Yankee, and two Hall of Famers. Or the UD MVP, dual base card, Jeter and Ichiro. I've got the secret crush, I'd say, on Jeter. I like a lot of his stuff. I'd say, like, 03, 04. Anything after that, I'm really just never interested in, because he just got every card and every set. And it's sort of like Jordan, where every set had to have Jordan in it, every set seemed to have Jeter in it. Not that it's never warranted, it's just, for me, I like a little spice in life, a little variety. So, love me base cards too. And it's actually the game used base. Because you don't see much of that stuff floating around nowadays. Somebody else showed this. I don't remember who, and I know I watched the video either yesterday or the day before. So I'm pulling them. Whoever it was, I can't remember. My brain sputtering. A-Rod. I got the 8.5. Good enough for me. A lot of chipping on these. This again was a. I remember picking this up as a kid in '94, right around Christmas. Not this particular card, but or this particular copy, I should say. The card I did is like '94, and the guy had him. I think he had 2 or 3 in the box behind the counter, just laying on the floor. Sports Zone, Virginia, Minnesota. I think I bought 2 or 3 of the 3 or 4 copies they had for like $10 each, and then that thing spiked like the next 2 years, I think, and I was able to flip them for a pretty good amount. But again, A-Rod is a guy I liked at the U of M, Miami, that is, U, and Mariners. That whole time you had Griffey, Buhner, Edgar Martinez, Randy Johnson, and then you had A-Rod coming up to infuse some like super youth in there into that lineup. So I mean, it was a good time, and love this card. I picked this one up a year or 2 back off one of the Facebook pages, and I don't think I spent over $10 on it, which I was just like, you got to be kidding me. That's not correct. People forget. It's like, oh, steroids. Well, he brought asses to the seats. They start knocking everybody for every indiscretion that they do. You're not gonna have many people left to prop up. This is the tops. Let me check a year on this. It's 01 or 02. 01. Heart of the Order. Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, and then Tino Martinez triple game used bat. Not much to say here. Just a cool card. Again, you don't know if any of these guys will get into the Hall of Fame, but they're certainly Yankee Hall of Famers with some of the most clutch hits of all time for the Yankees, or at least the present day Yankees. Just, I guess, genuinely decent guys on the field. I know Bernie's a very nice guy. Tino, I don't think anybody said much bad about Tino. I don't know. I haven't heard it. Paul O'Neill, I don't know. A lot of times he seemed like a dink, but everybody has their quirks. Obviously, I'd know that. So, again, a nice little card. Not numbered or anything. Show you the back here. And they got the little authentication sticker down in that bottom right corner. So, my Jeter project coming along decent. Right there's a Topps 93. I think it's a fairly gradable card. Centering maybe left to right is probably a 55-45. Up and down might be about the same, but still, I think it's a very nice, clean looking card. So at some point, it's going to go to Manny. Card Cave Central, sub to him. Used to be All-Star Jersey Shop, way back in the olden days. Big Yankee fan too. So Jerome, you see this. Card Cave Central. That guy, Manny, loves the Yankees. Just huge collection of stuff too, so I think you guys can hit it off. But yeah, Jeter. I want to get a lot of his stuff, or as much as I can, that's centered well enough, just because, again, eventually I think there's going to be a spike. I don't know when, Hall of Fame time, but I think there's going to be a big spike, just because the Yankees, and again, depends on what he does in Florida, too, as the GM or president of baseball operations. Next up, and again, flagship for Topps. You can't go wrong with Topps rookie, right, Eric? Next up, Donruss 2002, rookie year materials. Yogi Berra with a pinstripe. Can't go wrong there either. Yogi, Hall of Famer, great catcher. On so many high quality World Series teams, and just high quality teams in general. So to get that, I think that was about a $25-$30 card. Number to 35 from the jersey. They used to show that, folks. Somebody had an autographed jersey, so I'm sure Donruss at some point took that part out. I'd hope, but Love Yogi. Love trying to pick his stuff up. Pete Az, Paul Smith, what's going on? Love you. Another one for the old Jeter, 93 Bowman. Another very, very, very clean copy. Left, right, center, probably again in that 55-45 range. North, south, centering fairly stout. Fairly even there. So, corners nice, edges nice. Surface quality, smooth. I mean, and again, Jeter, spring training type a picture right there. I like that. I like the pictures of big moments, but I also like more the candid pictures when cameras aren't around. And then you got the picture at the back like that too. Just like the high school picture, like, hey, yearbook time. I got this one in recently. What a vintage. UD vintage. Mariano, Bernie, Posada, O'Neill. Quad game used bats. So it's interesting to see that with Mariano. I don't know how many Mariano game used bat cards there are. There can't be more than a handful out there. But another very nice clean card. Historic perspective. If Jeter was on here instead of, I don't know, O'Neill, maybe I'd be a little more happy. That'd be a better card for my liking and Yankee fans liking as well. Jeter obviously is going to be a more memorable Yankee than O'Neill, but can't go wrong there. Rivera, surefire Hall of Famer. Posada, Bernie, O'Neill, Yankee Hall of Famers, so you can't go wrong there at all. Just gorgeous card. Love the non-glossy back, just the vintage back. Got this one not too long ago either. Not great as a Yankee, more so as a, see my reflection, the card there, more so as a Ranger, Cub for a while, and then he just sort of fell off, but this card back in '99 was a monster. Soriano Gem at 10 Bowman Chrome. This cost me just a skosh over $10 shipped. And again, a lot of people, when I start saying in my collecting goals videos, like, oh, focus. Stuff like this, again, it's sure it was 99, sure I was 19, but I remember pulling the Bowman, getting a 20 right on the spot for it, the regular Bowman. Trying to find the Bowman Chrome after that, because that was 2 years, because Jose Cruz in 97, and then you had Troy Glaus in 98. People are like, oh great, that the Bowman Chrome is going to be, you need to get these key rookies. You need to get them, you need to get them now. So Soriano and Pat Burrell and Josh Hamilton in 1999 were the monsters. So, I mean, I picked up a lot of Soriano stuff in 99, 2000. I mean, a lot. I remember some people weren't on the not the bandwagon, as it were, but they weren't on the train. They weren't saying, okay, Soriano's going to be a decent player. It's like, okay, Yankees are starting to, last few years, rumble a lot. So you can see what they're putting together. So you better get some of these guys before they go up. And I bought a bunch. It was a Topps Gallery. I bought them for a buck or two at the card show in Duluth way back then. And but this one was one I don't think I ever had gotten, and I saw somebody had a couple other cards up on auction and pulled the trigger on that and was able to get that. So last two you may like a little more as well. 2001, 2000 are the UD Upper Deck Yankees Legends. The whole spiel there. Super cool card there. Mr. Roger Maris game used jersey with a pinstripe nearly running down directly in the middle of the card. Obviously a big legend in Yankees history. Him and Mantle. Boppers from way back 50s and 60s. A lot of people say Maris should be in. A lot of people don't. think he's already in there as, of course, like the 61 and 61, 61 homers in 1961. Got a special spot in Cooperstown there. Again, I'd say. What do you say, Lily? Oh, put him in. Why not? You know, it'll be interesting to see when all the Astros, nothing to do with Maris, he didn't cheat. But to see what like the Astros, Pete Rose, and all that discussion will be down the road. It's like, okay, if Altuve has like a Hall of Fame career, well, is he gonna be remembered for the World Series run against the Dodgers? Possible buzzers. That's a discussion I like to bring up. I like to hear people's opinions on that, and like the validity of the statements they're bringing behind those opinions. Because again, if like a Pete Rose can't be in, you're doing stuff off the field, it shouldn't affect your playing day career. But again, I don't know. It's going to be fun down there. Maris, I think he should be in. He's an iconic character or an iconic person in the game of baseball. I know he didn't have the greatest career. One of these times, again, him and Munson, those are two I don't know. I'm not distinguished enough in the baseball knowledge of the old guard. That's something I like to learn. God, Lily, shut the hell up. I'd like to learn more about stuff. Just because learning, if you never want to learn, or you say, I'm content with the knowledge I have, then I don't want to deal with it. Always learning, like good friend Eric says. I'm down with that. I like that. I always, even if the knowledge isn't retained, you've learned it, you've tried to retain it, and we're just getting older. So, last one I just got from my buddy Ty, Daniel 4619 on here on YouTube. I think it was his last year playing card, or last year active card. Sent this to me in a care package, which he didn't absolutely ever have to do. I'm 100% fine without it, but he's generous enough like that, and just a good guy overall. So, with a 69 mantle, I eventually get it graded. I know it won't come back probably more than 4 or 5. I don't know. There's a little blemish here. Doesn't matter. It looks clean as hell. Centering is super spot on. I mean, left to right, doesn't matter. Gorgeous, in my opinion, card. Gorgeous. And I like Mantle. I thought he was a great player. Could he have been better? Yeah, he had a lot of demons off the field too. Nobody says that when they're doing Hall of Fame comparisons and whatnot. Again, if you did the character Hall of Fame, a lot of these guys wouldn't even sniff it. On field, just a stellar player. So, Jerome, hope you enjoyed it. I like showing off cards, so this showing off some other stuff than my garbage PC stuff, or just random stuff. Super happy to do that. So now we'll go to, I don't even know what I can look up, or I can have a modern versus old school. And it's not old school. I guess I can just leave the old. Well, I mean, I can just do that too. Come on, brain power. I'm gonna do this for a hot second. But Joy brings it. Modern vintage. There's gonna be a lot of modern down the road in 20 years. That you gotta remember, people then, when they're collecting at that point in time, are gonna think it's vintage. It's probably 30 years, but you get the gist of it. So the Derek Jeter rookies at that point are gonna be a subcategory of vintage. And I don't know what those categories are going to be. It's going to be like a pre 9/11, post 9/11. I mean, that seems to be a a good barometer too for the cards, but I don't even know where you'd go. You'd go pre-strike, post-strike. That'd be a 94. But a lot of the stuff right now, the current day, I won't even go modern because I think modern from here back to late 80s. But again, I'm usually thinking like it's still 2010. I still can't believe we're in 2020. The modern of then, you're gonna have a little more scarcity because again, we as kids, all of us know that are late 30s to on that collected in that time frame. A lot of people took care of their cards, but a lot of people didn't. There's a lot of, and then just, it wasn't even in the spokes. I know there's a lot of people that put them in there. We had the cool little plastic things that went around your spokes, so anytime it just sort of went up and down like this on the spoke as you rode your bike. But the current day modern stuff, people say, oh, they're just going to throw it away, or they're going to burn it, or they're going to do whatever with the cards. I think a lot more people are taking care of their cards these days. Do I think the companies are taking care of their cards? No. You see blasters with dinged corners and horribly off center from shitty printing. But I think the modern stuff, late 80s to mid 2000s, that stuff will be, I think, a little more scarce. Not even saying the serial number stuff, because obviously there's going to be an actual scarcity with that, but the perceived scarcity of the stuff today, that Optic and Panini Prism, those two things, I do not see sustainable long-term value there. I could be 100% wrong, but some of the prices that people are getting for like the quote-unquote refractors, just the silver parallels of some of these guys, give me that all day. The Topps update stuff, if I could get a 10 of a lot of these guys at a great price, I'm not paying what some I've seen the Trout. I think Ed had it on his, like 20 Trout, so it's what, $1,000 there. I don't know if I'd pay $1,000 for it. I'd rather get an 8.5 or a 9, knock half that price off, and even then I don't know how comfortable I'd feel. If I had a choice, I'd go buy what I wanted first, because a lot of the stuff, I'd gravitate more towards like the Ted Williams, the Willie Mays, the Hank Aaron, the Roberto Clemente, Campanella. I think who else? Gehrig, DiMaggio, Jackie Robinson, Satchel Paige. Again, his stuff I don't think will ever go up like exponentially, but I would mix in what I've been doing at a greater level. I would try to get low grade, sexy, aesthetically appealing rookies, second year iconic set cards of these players, and see where I can get a cut autograph that's actually in a card. The old upper deck, a patch card, even jersey cards. At some point that may come out to be like, oh, upper deck shit the bed, and guess what? They're all fake jerseys. I know that's always something in my head that I'm worried about. Just because I've got a lot of that stuff, and I don't spend, to me, the people are spending $1,500 to $3,000 on like Fernando Tatis, autos. I'm like, that's a huge, huge pool to jump in. You're jumping in the Atlantic Ocean hoping he stays healthy. Vlad Jr., Acuna, Albies, Soto, all these guys, Joe Adell. I try to get on the basement floor, and if water rises, I hopefully float. But I don't want to get in the penthouse, spending the penthouse prices, and having the wrecking ball come in and tear down the building. So that's where I put my money. I do a mix of the vintage players in their either rookies or key cards from their rookie year. I couldn't just buy one card. I'd have to have, if I mean, you'd have to put a gun to my head, and even then, I couldn't drop 20 grand. Even hypothetical dollars, I couldn't do it. Jim Brown, Star, Unitas, those guys, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Jerry West. Jordan, I'd have to get a lower grade because I think that card has just exploded like the Trout update where it's valuable, but the hype and the craziness around the card, I don't think are justified. Again, opinion. You want to drop money on it? I'm happy for you because they're fucking cool cards. I'd love to have a Jordan rookie, but I'd want to get it in like a 2 or 3. Centered. Just give me a centered copy without creases and wrinkles. Corners, they could be rounded. I don't know. It's that when you're spending how much on that Jordan rookie, I get he's one of the best 2 players of all time, 3 players of all time. But there, have at it.